Good morning, all. Thank you very much for having me here. Today, I will give a presentation about the GCC interconnection between our 6 countries in the Gulf. And let me start from who we are. We are stationed in Dammam, our headquarters in Dammam, and this is. Let me start with how this idea came from. The idea came out from some professors that instead of having 6 grids, 6 separated grids, to have one grid among the 6 countries, and there will be a lot of savings in the spinning reserve. So it has started with an idea, and it has seen the reality, and I will say that the benefits of it was not just to save on spinning reserve. So we have built a super connection of the 6 countries, and we are in the business of operating and developing this 400 kV super grid interconnection between the 6 countries. It is a unique business. Our business is very unique because we are not connecting a country grid to another country grid. We own that grid. It's one grid that controls the 6 countries. And of course, we have established the GCC electricity market within the GCC. So let me start with our vision, where we want to be. We are stationed, of course, in the Gulf, and they called in that Gulf we are in the Middle East, and they called it middle not without any reason. So we are actually in the middle of the world. So we are establishing the GCC interconnection between 2005-2011. We have established the GCC power market between 2010 and 2020. This is our vision. And we want to expand that beyond the 6 countries. Now, let me explain to you. Our project was for 1.5 billion, but if we want to do it now, of course, it will be much higher than 1.5 billion. And I will tell you that the rate of the return of the investment, we are getting more than benefits of $400 million yearly from that investment. Now, let me talk to you about here. Let me explain to you that we have been connecting from Kuwait to Oman. And that's the whole connection between the 6 countries. And you can see it has started with phases, but now all the phases are being connected. So these are the phases, and let me here to see the power exchanged between the countries. It has started that the benefits of this connection to reduce the spinning reserve among the countries. But then we have discovered while we are operating it that the power exchange is making more benefit to us than to actually only the spinning reserve. So here you can see how is the jump have jumped, because we have traded in kind by swapping power between months or between days, and that have actually encouraged all the countries to participate in this power exchange. So let's talk about the saving, the technical and economical saving for the GCCIA. Of course, we have saved loss in fuel. As you know, that there are seasonality, and because of that seasonality, sometimes you have to run the machines with lower load. Now we can trade powers, and therefore those machines in thermal power are being loaded with optimum loading. Therefore, they are saving in fuel and in emission. So we are improving the load factor. We are having higher reliability. And of course, the emergency support among Gulf states, and above all, avoiding blackouts. And that, you cannot put a dollar sign on that, because blackouts avoiding is something very important for any grid. So if you can see the pie chart here of our saving of 2017 of 225 million US dollar. So let's talk here about the benefit from the economical targeting of GCC. So look at each countries, how much they are doing in fuel and of course in CO2 emission of reduction. Now the potential of economical power trading between the countries, you can see that there are saving of 2.1 billion per annum due to reduction of fuel and OEM costs of the for over the 25 years period. Now this reduction all came because of one idea of the connection among the 6 countries. Now because we have lots of sun and we are stationed in the middle of the east, as they called us, so we can be connected and we can put lots of huge potential of wind and solar power. Now there are opportunities and there are challenges, but we are here to make sure that the challenges are being adhered to and being overcome. The GCC countries, global, we are in the middle of the sun. You can see we have lots of sun rays there, and we have a huge service area, and we have also a significant wind development potential, especially offshore. Now, if you can see the challenges, of course, the dust is one of the challenges that we have, but we're trying to overcome that. And of course, local of the competencies in the renewable energies. Now, all of these challenges and opportunities are there, but I will say that since there are opportunities, there are challenges, and since there are challenges, we are here to adhere to all of these challenges. Now, let's just say that each country, each member state has put a target. And this is where you start. You have to put a target in order to meet those targets among all of the 6 states. And I will say that in the global grid, as the chairman of GIA have said, we want to participate in that. And we have signed an MOU with the GEI in order to have a role among the 6 states in this vision. So we are the coordinator and optimized grid operation and real-time planning among the renewable integration and and expanding the grid capacity and reaching out to other regions and development of GCC power market, and that's an important aspect for us. So here we are looking at the interconnection promising corridors. So since we are in the middle of between Africa and Asia and North Europe, we can always have the power produced from the hydro in Africa to take it all the way to where the demand is, which is our part of the world, and beyond to Asia. And here we are, we have already signed an MOU now in order to push power to Iraq and to have more solar in our region in order to push it all over the world and in our neighbors. And in order to do this, of course, we have to enable the interconnection between each countries. So in the GCC interconnection, driving regional interconnection and clean energy development is one of our goals within the GCCIA. By this, I thank you very much.